Hey guys, welcome back. News podcast. Today we have Jay again as our special guest, and we're gonna
Yeah,
talk
a
about
very special guest.
world domination, streets of states. We have it here right in front of us. Topics we're gonna talk about. Anyways,
Yeah.
what's it called? So yeah, Jay. So we've talked about this before, right? Organized crime.
Yes, we have. We are
It's
worrying
not that
about
we're
actually.
associated with people who are in organized crime, but we've talked about it. Like, yeah, we have, right?
Yeah, we're tangentially interested.
Yeah, yes, that's right. But
We're not involved,
yeah, we're not involved in any way or any
and
form.
we do not wish to be. Legal disclaimer: we do not
Yeah,
wish
of
to
course,
be.
of
We're
course.
not currently. We have not been involved in organized crime.
Yes, we're not involved in any of this. But do you think there's potentially a huge criminal organization that's like behind the world? I think there is. What do you reckon?
Uh, I don't think there's a big like criminal organization behind the world. I do think there's like a, and I also don't think there's like an Illuminati type beat. Some
Oh,
like
okay.
out there doing shit, but I do think there's like a couple of world leaders,
Yeah.
like a little friend group
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like group
friend group.
leaders
Yeah,
where
yeah,
they
yeah.
like make like maybe under the table like deals on how they want like things to go. For example, like this pure speculation. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
I'm not
of
pointing
course. It's
fingers,
all
but let's say the
speculative.
president of the U.S. at any given moment and the president of like the UK and like the prime minister and Germany and Japan and Australia, whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I wouldn't doubt that they get together sometimes and decide, like, hey, we want this out of like this situation, so we have to
Yeah,
manage everything like this in order for that to happen. And then they
yeah,
don't tell anyone that they're planning that, but they start subtly like adding policy and like doing things and even starting conflicts and stuff that
yeah.
could lead to that. So I do think that happens, but I don't think there's like a fucking Illuminati like type thing,
Oh, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Although it would be pretty cool because then I could become a superhero and take them down. That'd be pretty fire.
All right. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much that's about it for world domination or just organized crime. Let's move on to fighting and self-defense. Street fighting and home defense. Have you ever been in a
Love
fight?
that. I have multiple times.
Oh, damn! Really? Tell me about it. I'd like to
Yeah.
hear it.
Are we talking like established fights, like where we like unanimously decided we are going to fight, like a
Wait, hang
match or
on. I
like
think I'm
sport
lagging or
fight?
you're lagging. Hang on. All right, can you say
Because
that again?
I've
Like established
yeah, can
fights.
you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can. It was just a bit like blocky.
All right. Now I was saying that are we talking fights like organized fights like sports or like street or like you fights you just get into with like people because
If
you have
fights
like
get
a
into with people, not like organized fights, like
okay.
like.
I've had both. I've had both
Okay.
multiple times.
Yeah.
Um,
Tell us about
I'm
it.
I'm well known around the people that I hang out with
Yeah.
for being like the one person that properly knows how to fight.
All right. Like
Um,
shit.
and I love doing it. I love fighting. I don't like. Well, here's the thing. I can't say I don't like harming people.
Yeah.
Um, if they deserve it. Um, I there's some things I just don't do, right? Like I,
Yeah.
I like fighting. I like punching. I like taking punches. I like pushing myself to my physical limit.
Yeah.
I like testing myself. I like getting punched. I like throwing punches. I like deflect. I like everything, right?
Yeah.
And I like learning from every fight. One thing that I don't do though is I'm very careful with how I tackle them because I no matter how much I hate a person or how much they might deserve it, there's a couple of things I don't fuck with, which are
Yeah.
like of course murder, right?
Oh yeah. Of course.
You don't want,
Yeah.
you don't want to go around killing people, but also the senses and paralysis are things that I don't mess with. I would never ever, and every time, because I do teach some very again, I'm not a qualified like self-defense instructor,
Yeah. That's alright.
but I do know a thing or two about that. So whenever I get the chance to explain a little bit of self-defense to someone, I do, with of course the clear disclaimer that if you're in an actual dangerous situation, don't try to be a hero, you
Yeah.
know
Of
But I
course.
do teach them something to, like, like my classmates and
Yeah.
people, my friends and people I just meet sometimes.
Uh-huh.
A little thing or two that I can teach them. But but one thing that but yeah, I teach that. But one thing that I'm very clear about as well is that whenever, and things I advise people on, just because I respect human dignity,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
is even if I hate someone, or even if someone's like a terrible human being, I still respect their dignity to a point. So things that I don't mess with are, I will never try to actively paralyze someone, like
Yeah.
anywhere in the spine, anything. Never try to kill someone, and I would never try to deprive someone of their senses. I would never try to make someone blind. I would never try to make someone deaf. I would never try to make someone mute, because those are things that I think are very, very important,
Yeah.
right? To people in general, even if you're a douchebag, and or if I hate you, right?
Yeah.
I still think that is something that, as a human, I feel like is your given right,
Yeah.
to have those things. I don't want to
Mhm.
take them from you.
Yeah.
Um and I just don't want that. I'm also apprehensive about, like, permanently um reducing someone's ability to just function. So,
Yeah, of
like,
course. Like maiming someone.
really messing up, like, their hands or their
Yeah.
arms, or like their legs, in a way that they can't use them anymore.
Yeah.
Also, don't fuck with that. I try to, when I fight, whenever I've gotten in fights, both willing or unwilling, I always, or when I'm teaching people, I always
Yeah.
make it a point to make it a point that you're fighting to, if you're fighting for sport, you're fighting for sport.
Yeah.
And if you're fighting out of necessity, in my opinion, you're fighting
To defend yourself.
always in defense, almost,
Yeah,
right?
always in defense. Yeah.
You're almost always going to fight in defense. And if
Yeah.
you're fighting in defense, your main goal is to defend yourself, not to harm the
Harm
other
is the other
person, right?
person. Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to neutralize that person's attack at that moment, but you don't really want to neutralize the person permanently, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know? Now, of course, variations of this and stuff, some people do fight to kill, some people do fight out of vengeance, and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah. Of
that.
course. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I believe. I don't know if you've gotten any fights.
Oh man, speaking of that, I've only gotten into one fight, but it wasn't like um it didn't get that far, but I think because of this, people because of that incident in high school, I was like in 8th grade. I was only like 13 years old at that time. But like what happened was um I just got angry because of how this guy, my classmate, was treating this I don't know, I think it was a 6th grader. It was like cuz we used to hang out outside of the library or inside the library, and like it looked to me as if he was though he was bullying him or
Yeah.
like shit like that. And then one of my friends who was tall, his name was Thomas, was like, I know. He said this like a few days ago. He's like, I know how you feel, man. Just keep it in. And then one day, it just all came apart. And then I just threw a punch at him. And then he no, cause he said, "You mad, bro?" And then I punched him. And then he grabbed me by the shoulders and I push kicked him. And we rolled down to the ground. And then a teacher came and stopped the fight. But because of that, I think because of that incident, people had a bad image of me sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
and also because I think because of that, some people or most people in my school didn't want to choose to fight with me.
Did you ever get, like, have you ever gotten, like, seriously injured by someone? Even if you're not, like, have you ever gotten, like, punched real bad, or like slammed or something? Or stabbed? I don't know.
Nah, never. But like,
Never?
nah, nothing like that. But there were instances where like, I just wanted to beat the shit out of people sometimes. Like, there's
Same.
this classmate I had, man. He was fucking Indian, man. Like, fucking, he was playing with my ruler for fuck's sake, man. Like, fucking hell, man. What do you think you are, man? You think you're fucking Aladdin or something, man? Come on, man. You're playing with my ruler, man. I was so close to punching him in the face, man. I just
You don't fuck with a man's ruler.
like, seriously, man. Why are you playing with my ruler, bro? What the fuck? There was also
Nah,
this other
I've also
instance.
been
Yeah,
on the brink of, like, beating the fuck out of people.
yeah, it happens, man.
It
But
gets to you.
you're a greater man if you choose not to, unless
Yeah,
you have to. Then yeah,
which
that's
is why
different.
all the times that I mentioned that I have gone into a fight, it's mostly unwilling unless it's for sport, right?
Yeah, of
It's
course.
mostly unwilling
Yeah.
because every time, unless I'm dragged into it, I love fighting. I love it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't like harming people unnecessarily.
Yeah,
If
of
if I
course.
know that someone just being a dick or someone being an asshole, I'm like, okay, leave it. Do what you gotta do. Don't fuck with other people, but I'm not gonna punch you, and you're not gonna punch me. All
Yeah.
right? Because I'm gonna leave. All right. If you try to punch me, I mean, you do what you gotta do, but
Yeah, of
I'm not gonna
course.
punch back because I don't want to escalate this, and I don't want to harm you unnecessarily. You know, and that has led to multiple things. Like I have gotten my head smashed against a stone pillar,
Oh
which
damn.
cracked my skull a little bit,
Shit.
like in the back, like just a little bit. It still hurts to this day when I like press on it.
Yeah.
I've gotten my ribs cracked at one
Shit.
point. I've gotten my knee still fucked.
Yeah.
So I've gotten still some stuff done to me because of that. But at the end of the day, pain is temporary.
Yeah.
But that stain you leave by acting on that rage,
Yeah.
that does stay for a long time.
Of
So it's better
course.
to not have that and to just maybe get punched once or twice and just move on.
Yeah.
It's just being the bigger man because people believe that just because you can fight, you should, and it's like it doesn't make you manlier. It just I'm not saying people who fight are not manly,
Yeah, of course.
but I'm saying people who don't are also not necessarily less manly. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just how it works.
Yeah.
Um, that's just how it works.
For me, there was also this other what is it called, altercation, where like fucking, I think most of the times when I encounter this type of situations, I always act out of on rage.
Mhm.
Like there was this one student, like it was like 2 years below me. So I was talking to my friend or my classmate from who was also 2 years below me, and like we were just talking, and then in the train, right? And this other
Yeah.
kid, he just kept like pulling my bag down until one point I just lost it, and like I turned around and I fucking grabbed his shirt and pulled him towards the fucking train door. I just got angry. I just shouted at him and shit, like, "Why are you doing that?" and shit like that. Man,
Yeah.
like fuck, man. I didn't want to look bad, like fuck, man. But that's the thing about sometimes at school, cause like they always get the bad image of you when they don't know the full story, and that's what I hate the most. It's like, why would you
Yeah.
do that to a kid, bro? Ugh, fuck, man, you guys are so stupid, bro. The same with that
Yeah.
incident in year 8, man. It's fucking retarded, bro. I swear.
In school, especially when you're in school, and especially in middle school and high school,
Yeah,
not middle school more like, but in general, like people think they know you, but they really don't.
yeah, of
Um,
course.
whether it be because they just haven't gotten to know you and just assume, or because as a kid you don't really know how to get people to know you. You don't know how
Yeah,
to put yourself out there too much. Um, for example, I mean, throughout the entirety of elementary school and middle school, people
yeah,
thought, and most of high school actually, people thought I was this scrawny ass kid who could barely move. Right?
yeah. Hello? Shit, am I like,
Gee.
hey, you there? Hello?
Hello. Sorry, technical difficulties, man. You just gotta edit that out.
All right,
As
I
I
will.
was okay.
Oh, yeah, because I think I'm lagging as well. That's why I'm looking at my ping right now. It's fucking 12, and then goes above like 20 or something. MS.
Yeah. Yeah, my shit's. I think Discord's been acting really bad for me lately. Like it's
Really?
been. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's been terrible. Like it keeps disconnecting from stuff. If stuff, it keeps like
Oh yeah,
loading
yeah.
like
Some of the
instantly.
bots are like that as well. Like they don't play the full song. They just like leave. Like they disconnect.
Yeah. Like what's going on? They need to check their
I don't know,
servers,
man.
man.
What the hell is going on?
You're recording right now?
Yeah, I'm still recording, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just to go back to what I was saying.
Yeah, yeah, go back.
People throughout like middle school and high school thought that I was this scrawny kid who could like barely move,
Yeah.
and it was mostly because I just never showed them anything, and also because I'm a little bit of a crazy person, so I used to play a character like every different like a different week it'd
Oh
be a
really?
different character. Yeah, like I told you, like every one of my goddamn like school or whatever like believes that I'm from a different place. Some people believe I'm from Estonia, some people believe I'm from Japan. I convinced my best friend I was from Japan, my best fucking friend. um South Korea, Colombia, the US, Canada, the UK, Australia, Ireland, Germany. You can think of any country. I've probably been from that country to someone, right?
Shit. Yeah.
And I have a different life story that I make up. Yes, compulsive liar, maybe. Sure. Bad? No, I know how to control it. But
Yeah,
here's the
of
thing,
course.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, what is
I
it?
that also goes with the whole thing of how I acted
Oh, okay.
around certain groups of people. I would play the character of the clumsy, dumb dude who never caught on to anything.
Oh, okay.
That's the
Yeah.
funny thing. Um, and among certain people, I would act like the really sophisticated, serious guy, you know.
Oh,
Um,
really?
and sometimes just to get my way, I would act like I couldn't do it. Like for example, PE one day,
Yeah.
I just didn't want to do PE that day. I wasn't
Yeah.
feeling up to it,
Uh-huh.
but my teacher was a bitch. He wouldn't let me skip. So we were doing a Cooper test, which is basically running around for 15 minutes,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
around the
remember that.
track. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pretend like I faint. I'm gonna pretend like I'm gonna faint just so I can
Yeah.
skip. And so I pretend fainted,
Yeah, how'd it go?
and then I pretend fainted for so long because I had to keep up the facade. They called my parents and everything. I was wheeled around in a wheelchair because I couldn't move my hands because I stayed stiff for so long trying to act that I genuinely got stiff. But
Oh, shit.
ever since that day, everyone was like, "Oh, you can't even run for 5 minutes," you know? It was all an act, sure. But now people believe that it's how I presented myself. Now
Yeah.
people are actually realizing that this entire time I have always been training my body and I've been learning how to fight for years, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So, and I do work out and exercise a lot and I do
Yeah.
care about my body and it's one of the most important things for me. So, people are now realizing that, people just they think they know you but they don't and they still judge you with those things, with those parameters.
Yeah.
Um even if you've proved them wrong, because they want to cling on to something. And mostly in high school, middle schools because they want to make fun of you for something.
Yeah, of course.
And usually those assumptions gives them something to laugh about. Once you present your real self, there's nothing to laugh about. Because if you
Yeah.
look at any normal human being, you really don't laugh at normal people unless they're like extraordinarily stupid or like goofy, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, but normal people, which is what you present yourself as once you let yourself be known,
Yeah.
there's nothing to laugh at. So, in order to have something to laugh at, they cling on to that vision they had of you, that
Yeah.
like the assumption. But yeah, that's my experience with that.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on. It's still the same topic, subtopic about home defense. How would you defend yourself at home from home invaders?
I'm not the right person to ask about that, bro. I'll go on a tangent. You know,
Oh,
I'll be
why?
going on
Oh,
a tangent.
really? Shit,
It's
man.
because I don't know if I told you this, but I, I'm thinking about it right now. It's like actually I have OCD. It's one of my compulsive thoughts.
Oh, really?
Um,
Shit.
but it's I cannot meet or perceive someone without imagining every 2 seconds how I would fight them and how I would beat them in a fight, and even depending on who they are,
Damn.
sometimes that fight ends in ways that I would never end the fight. Like the
Yeah.
ones I talked about. But I just think about it. I constantly am thinking about fighting. I'm constantly thinking about fighting someone. So basically, no one can catch me by surprise. Like in my mind, I fought my entire school. I fought my entire group of friends. I fought my family. I know how to beat them. So
Oh,
no
really?
one can catch me
Shit.
by surprise. But it's a problem sometimes because I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah,
It
that's the
doesn't.
problem, man.
But the home invasion thing is something that I also think about all the fucking time while I'm at home.
Yeah,
And
same.
there's multiple things. I always come up with different ideas depending on the stuff that's around me, right?
Yeah.
I think of how to disarm them, how I would maybe hide beforehand before actually, pouncing on someone, how I would use the stuff around me to fight.
Yeah.
Um, Here's the thing. I do realize that in the smartest thing to do with something like that is probably to keep your distance. Do
Yeah.
what they tell you until maybe you find an opening to do something that you know is super safe,
Yeah.
but it's going to be really dangerous. I mean, if they have a gun, then what
That's
are you going to
over,
do,
man.
right?
Yeah, you can't do anything.
But I'm the type of person that would do some dumb shit and really try to be the hero because that's just the person that I am. I don't
Yeah.
go down without a fight. So that might end well, that might end bad, but I always have a plan for that. That's how I would treat it. It's not how I would recommend people do it.
Yeah, of course.
I would recommend you hide, wait for them to take whatever they want from your house, and I don't know. just you can worry about the consequence of that later. You know, buy another TV if you have to. You have to. If you don't have the money,
Yeah.
guess no TV, right?
Yeah.
Report it to the police. But yeah,
But yeah.
that's how I would do it. Honestly, I don't know.
Okay. But like, what? Okay, it's my turn. But just going back to the thought of like compulsive thoughts, like negative thoughts, that is. But for me, like, oh man, back in high school, I used to have this really bad thought of like, I don't know, I just felt like killing someone. Like, oh, fuck, I just this urge to kill. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And that's what I told my best friend as well. You still have that urge to kill now? Like, nah, man, this isn't high school, bro. Jesus, man, what the hell? It's like any moment now, I'm gonna fucking kill someone. But
Yes,
yeah, the home invasion thing, it's I wouldn't fuck with anyone with a gun if it's a home invasion. But if it's like a what's it called? Like if they don't have a gun, it's this you can always defend yourself with a melee weapon or some sort of other.
I mean, look, if like here's the thing though, if someone has a gun and they got distance on their side, you're
Yeah,
fucked.
yeah, you
I
are.
mean, you're
You are.
fucked. If you have to defend yourself, like if you absolutely have to, best thing you could do is just run towards them because you're gonna get shot, but at least you're gonna get shot fewer times, you know?
Yeah,
But if they have a gun, they got distance. I mean, what are you gonna do? But if you have distance on your side, if you got a close quarter situation happening
yeah,
and they have a gun,
yeah,
you do have a very good chance of either disarming them or knocking them out cold if you know how to do it. Now the thing
yeah,
is most people don't know how to knock someone out or don't have the strength to or don't have the technique to, right?
yeah,
And most people don't know how to disarm a weapon. Most people don't even know how to use a weapon or what a weapon looks like, right?
yeah,
Um so and which is not a problem, you know. But I do think people need to educate themselves on that just in
yeah.
case.
But the thing
And
about
just
here is here in Australia specifically is like the law is sometimes retarded, man. Like if you try to kill or harm someone who's trying to invade your house, you actually might end up being the one fined or imprisoned. Actually, it's really weird. It's fucking stupid. I
yeah,
tell you.
that's also the gray area. Is like a lot of people are scared that if you try to defend yourself in a certain situation, you might end up worse than the fucking criminal. You
Yeah,
know, even in the U.S., which has like very clear like standard ground laws, where like
yeah.
you get to fucking shoot someone if if they just stand in your fucking backyard, you have the right to shoot them if you tell them to leave, right?
Oh
And they
shit!
don't because
Really?
that's
The fuck?
trespassing, and you can shoot someone if they're trespassing your property, especially if you have like credible cause to believe that they're gonna harm you or like harm your property.
Yeah,
But there have been cases where people do
yeah.
shoot or harm home invaders, and they actually go to jail for it, even in the U.S., which has very strict stand your ground laws. Um, so yeah, it's just a gray area. That's another one of my fears when like with the fights and stuff. It's like
Yeah,
the law, even if you know it, you never know if it's gonna work or not.
yeah,
So it's always some bullshit.
of course, man. Yeah, but speaking on that compulsive thoughts thing, yeah, I was manic a few nights ago. Like I just modified my weapon, my self
Yeah.
defense, my home defense weapon. The weapon I have at home, like in my room, that is, it's a flashlight, but it looks like a baseball bat,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's hollow. But I think it can't be iron or steel because it's too light to be like that. But I think it's aluminium. But it seems very hard for it to be aluminium. Maybe it's a different type of aluminium alloy or something. But like
Mm-hmm.
I modified it with like I attached like a chain inside with rings attached to the end, so it's like a weighted chain, so it's like a flail. And then I modified it
Damn.
even more. I had this other configuration, as I call it, where like I put.
I love how people in America just have like a handgun in like their drawer just in case someone pops in Australia. You have a fucking flail. Fucking butthole intruders. You're gonna have a fucking knight in shining armor break into your house on a horse. Like,
Nah, but it's. I don't know what my best friend says. Like, bro, your house is like in some Latin American country or something. It's like Mexico or some shit. Cause like it's fucking got like bars or some grilled windows or some shit, and like it's got the Santo Nino and shit.
That is true. There's something that a lot of places had like that, like the hood and the entirety of Latin America got in common
Really?
is you gotta keep everything fucking secure, bro.
Yeah,
Every
of course,
fucking
man.
window
Of
is like
course,
blocked.
man. Fuck.
My windows are not like they don't have the security bars, but that's because I'm in an apartment.
Oh
So
yeah.
like be kind of hard to fucking break in through the window, although possible.
Yeah, for still
Um,
possible for sure, but like,
in
it's
fact, they were actually cleaning my windows because they were painting the side of the building
yeah.
the other day. So there was a bunch of people for like a couple of weeks actually. This was going on, like people just hanging like out right next to my window and stuff. And my window, did I tell you about the time someone threw a brick at my window?
Yeah, you did. What happened there?
Yeah. So someone threw a brick at my window, blah blah blah. So it was broken. So we had someone come in and repair the window.
Yeah.
They did a shitty job, and they
Oh
because
my gosh.
they got a window thing, like the window thing was bigger than the window pane.
Oh shit.
So, and it's one of the sliding ones, and it's on the
Yeah.
sliding part.
Yeah.
So they did a shitty job at it. You can't open that window, and they said, "Okay, I'll come back tomorrow and finish it." And then we're gonna pay them tomorrow. They never came back. Um, so we just have a shitty window. I can't open my window or anything, but it's
Shit.
very sensitive. So I was like, these dudes are stepping on windows, a support. They're gonna fucking break my window, or they're gonna try to break in, some shit. So
Yeah.
every time they were right next to my window, I was bracing for a fight.
Oh shit. Bruh. Fuck. Man.
Yeah,
But yeah, the other configuration I have with my fucking the bat or whatever the club,
get your
like
flail.
yeah, the flail. I padded it with like bandanas, so it's like, so I don't like kill the person who's intruding, because the weird the law
So you
is
have
weird.
two configs for it,
Yeah, the one with the flail or the one with
like a
the
fucking bloodborne weapon.
bloodborne weapon. What is this, Elden Ring? Oh man,
Yeah,
shit.
fucking
The boss
gas
fight.
coin's gonna break into your fucking house.
It's a boss fight. You have to beat him. Do a roll.
The first fucking boss fight is your home intruder.
But yeah, it's just padded. It's like that's the second configuration. But I think I removed the chain, so it's not a flail anymore. It's just a club.
It's a club. Why are you talking like you're a fucking Dark Souls character, man? Like it's not a flail, it's a club now. I'm gonna get my claymore in a couple days. I'm going to
Shit,
hand the
bruh,
fucking
fuck.
staff. Do some sorcery on that home intruder.
Bruh.
You know what you need to get is fucking self defense.
Yeah, what?
I've been looking into Moonlight Greatsword. You need to get that shit.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. What was it? World War Three. Shit, it's a huge topic, right? Causes for World
I
War
mean,
Three, theaters of war, and cyber warfare. I think there already is a cyber warfare happening right now as we speak.
oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's been happening for fucking years, basically. But I mean, with the whole Ukraine and Russia
Yeah,
situation, it's definitely happening. I don't think it really. I
I
mean,
don't
I
think
do
it will
think
escalate that far.
World War III. I think it's some time off. Some time off. I
Yeah,
don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon.
not in our
Hopefully
lifetime,
not.
or not
Hopefully
in
not
our.
in our
Yeah, of
lifetime.
course. Yeah,
Hopefully not in the next. Hopefully we just move past wars.
yeah, yeah,
Just
man.
be peaceful. But no, um, but I do think that if it does happen, it's gonna happen a little bit different. Of course, there's gonna be the same like, like ooh, this group is shooting this group and this group is shooting back, right? There's gonna be those types of
Oh
conflicts
yeah, like
in battle.
retaliation, some
But
shit.
but
Yeah.
I do think most of the wars actually going to be fought in a more subtle, less noticeable way. I do
Oh.
think it's going to be basically. I do think wars are from now on, like major wars are going to be fought more like the Cold War, almost,
Yeah,
where it was like
basically, yeah.
subtle,
Proxy wars. Yeah.
like no one really felt any hard impact. They just kept getting shot, not realizing that,
Yeah.
and then they looked at their wounds when they were bleeding out, and they were like, "Oh fuck," you know.
Yeah.
So I do think that like that's kind of what's going to happen. Like
Proxy
like for
wars. Yeah.
example, like people in the US or people in like Europe or like collateral adjacent places like Latin America and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or Africa.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be like holy fuck they're bombing my city, but I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be more like you're gonna start realizing holy fuck the access to food is getting really hard. My purchasing power is going down drastically. The economy's kind of
Yeah.
bombing. Um, like there's some restrictions on travel. There's restrictions on everything. It's like there's propaganda all over the place, stuff like that. I feel like you're gonna start feeling the effects more subtly, and they're gonna start killing you slowly, but they're not gonna be like, yo, bombs everywhere, fucking
Yeah.
drafted, go to war, go shoot a gun. I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
more subtle than that.
Subtle. Yeah.
Because also, I mean, a world war. Look, no one wants a nuclear war.
Of
No
course,
one.
man. Of
Not
course.
Russia.
Mad is still in the question.
I mean, yeah,
That
but
we don't
here's the
want
thing.
that. Yeah. What is it?
Exactly. Because, Russia, the US,
They have the most
even North
nuclear
Korea,
weapons.
no one wants a nuclear war. No one. Not
Exactly,
Russia,
man.
not the US. So, the reason the US really doesn't want to get involved in the Ukraine-Russia situation is because
The nukes is
it,
in question.
exactly, and the reason Russia, while they want to act all threatening, would not actually shoot a nuke is because they know that if they launch a nuke, bad shit is going to happen.
Yeah, of
And
course, man.
Russia has 8,500 nukes, I believe, and the US has like 7,000 something
Yeah.
nukes. They know that, the US is the most spiteful fucking country on the planet, all right? Like, think about it. Like, 9/11 happened,
Yeah.
tragedy. And
Of
then they
course.
fucking decided to like rape like Afghanistan and the Middle East for like 20 fucking years or some shit.
Yeah, bro. Fuck.
And
20-year
and
war.
like Pearl Harbor, terrible.
The
But they
bombs on
got bombed in Pearl
Hiroshima,
Harbor and then they
Nagasaki.
decided to fucking drop two nukes on Japan. The US is the most spiteful fucking country on the planet. Russia knows that. So Russia knows that if they nuke the US or anything adjacent to it,
Yeah.
one,
It's over.
if they mess with the US, they have to mess with pretty much the entire planet.
Yeah.
And two, they're going to have to mess with the US being the most spiteful country on the planet. They don't want that. So, because they're such nuclear superpowers,
It's
I
better.
think a world war, even if
Even
they
if.
can, they're not going to choose to fight it like all
Yeah.
out, like
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
full blown
It's not full
fight,
blown.
because they know the
The
absolute
consequences.
danger
Yeah.
that poses to
Yeah.
absolutely everything and everyone.
Yeah.
So, I think it's going to be more subtle. And I do think they're going to try to prevent any more wars from happening unless absolutely necessary from now on, like global,
Yeah,
world
of course.
wars
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, of course.
And also, you have a lot of organisms trying to have that, the UN, NATO, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they got that not under control, but they got that in their radar.
Yeah.
Then again, you never know.
Yeah.
But hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm worried with the cyber war as well. If it actually does escalate, like, can you imagine weeks, if not months, without like electricity or internet? Fuck, man.
Again, I don't. I mean, look, that could
Happen,
happen
but
because
it's not within.
it's very dangerous to do it, because it's at this point in our society, it's not equivalent to launching a nuke, but it's pretty up there with it,
Yeah, it is pretty up there.
because you cut an entire country's, especially a big country like the US or
Yeah,
Russia,
power
you
grid or
you
something.
cut an entire country's access to power, and you essentially, like, let's say for even for a week,
Yeah,
but
just
let's say
weeks.
you do it for like
Mm,
3 months or
yeah,
like
3 months.
six
Yeah.
months, you absolutely destroy that country. You basically tank their economy. You fuck their actual, like, their society, which
Yeah.
runs on electricity, right? You fuck their stability. You fuck their access to products and food and basic needs. You fuck their economy. You fuck their general communication with the
Yeah.
outside world, right? Of
Basically, yeah.
everyone. You're essentially murdering that country, which is something that wouldn't have happened way back in the day. Because way back in the day, for example, in World War II, the world wasn't as dependent on technology,
Yeah.
right? Things worked very analog back
Yeah.
then. So
Now it's
cutting
digital.
an entire country's power to technology would be like, okay, took a little bit of a hit, even though we don't really got that much to begin with. But like technology, I mean, like everything. Although most things worked on mechanical gears at that point, but
Yeah.
even like, stuff like that. I mean, in the fucking medieval ages, right? They did just fine without electricity because they didn't need it.
Yeah.
They didn't run on it. Now we run on it.
Yeah, we depend on
Everything
it.
depends on it.
Yeah.
Everything. Absolutely
Everything.
everything depends
Yeah.
on it. I mean, the function, like any country on the planet functions on it. Even third world countries
Yeah.
function on electricity. Now there are places where like the impact wouldn't be as severe, like for example, some places in Africa,
Yeah.
right? Some places, there's other places in Africa where like you cut their power and again you're killing the country.
Yeah.
there's other places where like maybe there hasn't been that much development, but those are the places that no one would even think to cut power,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
People, if you're cutting power, you would cut power to places that matter, like the U.S.,
Yeah.
like China, like Russia, like Germany, like the UK, like Italy, like France, like like Spain.
Yeah.
Even some Latin American places that are pretty like focal, such as Colombia, Brazil, Mexico, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Australia. And the thing is, every single country that I mentioned runs on that.
Yeah.
Colombia,
Exactly.
Mexico, Australia, the US, Canada, the UK, you cannot function without it.
We're so
So
dependent.
that is basically equivalent to almost to a modern day nuke,
Yeah.
because while you're not destroying, killing people
Directly.
like that, you are killing people and perhaps even more, but slowly.
Yeah. Slowly.
And
Yeah.
you're killing them slowly, and by killing them slowly, you are also killing the government from the inside out, basically.
Yeah.
You're not just attacking a population, you're attacking the entire country.
Yeah.
And so that would actually, in a way, if it's like cutting power for a long time and for some reason they can't control it, or they can't bring power back up, or they can't counter that, or stuff like that. I mean, honestly, that could be scarier than a nuke
Yeah.
to a
It
lot of
is.
people.
Yes. Yeah. That's what worries me sometimes, man. Shit.
I don't think it's gonna get to that point.
Yeah. It
At
will
least,
get to that
like,
point. At least
I don't
now,
think in our
or
life. I don't think in
or
our
in this lifetime.
lifetime
Yeah.
something of that scale is
Yeah.
gonna be
No.
like even feasible, really.
But speaking of that, like power grid thing, that almost happened in 2012 with one of the solar what is it called, coronal mass ejections from the sun. It
Solar
almost
flare.
hit the Earth, and that would have like turned off almost every
No, yeah,
power
they
grid.
did. They did say that, and I think I don't know. I read something that the effects of that might still be felt like some years from now,
Oh really?
but
Shit.
of it just coming close to it. But
Oh
I
man.
mean, that would have been terrible. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
terrible.
essentially like ending the fucking planet right
Yeah,
there.
bro. Fuck.
Um,
Imagine that, bro. Fuck. That's like catastrophic, man. It's like
yeah, it's terrible, fucking
shit.
terrible.
All right, let's
Um,
just try lighten up the mood. Let's talk about our cultures and heritage. Yeah, my culture is Australia and my heritage is Philippines. Man, what
mhm.
about yours, Jay? What was yours again?
I mean, my culture, I think it's a pretty nice balance between Colombia, a little bit of Colombia, and the U.S. And of course, my heritage comes from good old Colombia, you know,
Yeah,
um, good old.
yeah. Yeah. One thing that my culture and heritage that has in common is like the fact that we both wear slippers or thongs. But if you say thongs to an American, they'll probably think of that fucking G string or some shit. And
Yeah,
we call erasers rubbers here.
rubber. No, that's a condom.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's what we
saying,
call a
bro.
condom.
There, I was like, what the fuck?
If you ask a classmate for a rubber,
Hey, you
bro,
got a rubber, bro? Fuck, fuck, what the fuck is wrong with you? Shit, bro, fuck.
I actually find myself clashing a lot with my classmates and people I meet here in Colombia because of my more like American culture.
Oh yeah.
Like that side of me, I find myself clashing a lot. Um,
What do you mean
because
clashing?
something like sometimes things like it's not like I get into fights with people.
Oh
People
yeah, yeah.
sometimes people yell at me for shit, but it's because like we don't see eye to eye on certain things, or we don't mutually understand how each other function.
Oh
So we end
okay.
up doing like weird things now. Like
Oh
for example, like certain things that you're not supposed to do, certain things that you are
yeah,
supposed to do. Is like
cultural.
sometimes and also because I just don't know a lot about Colombia, so
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of people
right.
do treat me like a dumbass. Um, but it is definitely hard. I the thing is I used to have a friend from the U.S., which is the person I used to hang out with all the time, so I could kind of avoid those clashes
Oh
for the
yeah,
most part.
yeah,
But now that he's gone, I kind of have to face that by myself,
yeah.
and I have to
Independent. Yeah,
actually deal with those things. Especially with like back in like early high school, teachers that were like super like social studies teachers and Spanish teachers, people that were super like into Colombia, I would
yeah,
clash a lot with them because I'd be like, I don't know you guys do that. Like certain customs, like there's this thing where you put like cheese inside of your chocolate, your hot chocolate
Oh,
in
really?
Colombia,
Shit.
which I didn't know was a thing. So I was like, that's weird. Sometimes I don't know the names of things. I have to ask people for like,
What's the name
how
of
do you?
this?
I was in there was this one situation. It was actually kind of fucking embarrassing.
Yeah,
Right?
what is it?
Look, I'm the Colombian guy, all
Okay.
right,
Yeah.
and I'm hanging out with my eighth grade English teacher. I told you, Grace.
Yeah.
She's a white woman from New York, born and bred. She's completely from New York. I mean, her entire family's from the U.S. She's the whitest woman you'll meet. She's got blonde hair, blue eyes. She's
Yeah.
from New York, and we were hanging out
Uh-huh.
in Colombia, and we went to this cafe, and we sat down. We were ordering, and she ordered her stuff, and we had to order in Spanish,
Shit.
but I she knows how to speak Spanish. I know how to speak Spanish. Her Spanish is not great. My Spanish is fluent. So, but for some reason,
Yeah.
I didn't know how to say scrambled eggs in Spanish. I wanted some scrambled eggs, so I was like, I want some, and I had to ask her how to say scrambled egg in
Oh
Spanish. I
shit.
had to ask the whitest woman I've ever met from New York City how to say scrambled egg in Spanish in basically what is my home country
Yeah. And then
because
what
I
happened?
couldn't because I didn't know how to fucking say it. You know, that's just like, and those things happen to me all the time where I just don't know. My parents, for example, like I have like when I'm talking to my parents, sometimes I speak Spanish with them for
Yeah.
the most part. I find myself, and when I'm talking to people and teachers and stuff, I find myself constantly having to like look up stuff online while I'm talking to them.
Yeah.
So like I have to not only look up translations to what I'm saying, but also like, for example, I'm like, I don't know if you guys have this in Colombia, so I have to look it up. Or like, they mentioned something, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, so I have to go in and like look for it mid conversation,
Yeah.
and that kind of hot. Which is why I don't talk to many people because honestly, I basically hang around by myself all the time because one, I like to be by myself, and two, it's hard for me to talk to people because I constantly we have this clash of me not really understanding what they're about, us their slang and everything,
Oh yeah.
and them not understanding what I'm about.
Mm.
Also because American culture is very similar in general to Colombian culture, but it's also very different. I mean, it's not going to be like for you, like Filipino culture to Australian.
Yeah.
That's just different. It's like way different.
Yeah.
The Philippines is a very traditionally ethnic place. It's very traditional, very like you guys have your customs,
Yeah.
right? And how it works, and then Australia has their customs and how things work.
Yeah.
So you have to live in both spheres where like things are completely different.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, and also going from Asia you know to Australia, it's a big difference. To me, I mean, if you go to the U.S. to Colombia, go from the U.S. to Colombia, or from Colombia to the U.S., it's for the most part almost like the same,
Really?
except for the little nuances
Yeah, nuances, yeah, I
where
can imagine.
people start like showing that they're American or Colombian, like
Yeah.
really showing that they are. And that's where you get fucking stuck. Because that's when you start realizing, okay, this all works pretty much how I'm used to it working,
Yeah.
but the people are different because the people are used to a certain type of, I guess, lifestyle,
Oh,
you know?
okay, yeah.
So that really, it clashes a lot. I feel like I'm lucky enough to have family on both sides, although I don't really talk to anyone outside of my immediate family, but I do talk to some people. Like a lot of my family that I do talk to is from New Orleans,
Oh,
and
okay,
and some
yeah.
of it is from Colombia. So I do have like both things, and I grew up with both things.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough for that. But it definitely is hard, coming from both. I'm not like here's the thing. I'm very American to Colombians, and I'm very Colombian to Americans
Oh
sometimes.
man, that's quite the
Like
contrast.
sometimes I'm talking to American people, and I'm like, for the most part, we get along without any issue.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, man, you guys are goofy. You don't know the beauty of an empanada, right? And I start talking about some shit like that. But
Yeah.
then when I'm talking to Colombians, they're like, "You are so fucking American. Get the fuck away from me,"
The
right?
fuck?
And I'm like, all right, bro. You know, Eh, it's kind of it is what it is. I
Yeah.
deal with it. I don't really mind it too much. I like both places, honestly, as much as I love to shit on both.
Yeah.
Um, I think Colombia's a great place. I don't think it's the shithole that a lot of people make it out to be. I think it's a really nice place. Great people. It's not as dangerous as people make it out to be. I think some of the stuff here is genuinely beautiful and works great. In the U.S., as fucked up as it can be, and as all over the place, I do think it's an amazing place. I think it's a place where people genuinely go for opportunity and get it in most
Yeah.
cases.
Mhm.
I do, not most, but in a lot of them, I do think it's a genuinely amazing country with a lot of flaws. But then again, if you look at any country,
All of them have
they're gonna
flaws.
have those.
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course, yeah.
like all those people that shit on America and like praise Japan is like you
Dude,
wouldn't last a second living in Japan. Okay, Japan is
yeah.
a pretty shitty place in some aspects, and
Yeah.
it's amazing in others. You know,
Yeah, of
and I
course.
mean, even places that are like look, like I'm gonna let you talk more on this, but like the Philippines is a place that on the outside to a lot of people seems like something I'm not touching that, you know?
Yeah.
But if you listen to Filipinos, they'll tell you about all the beautiful stuff about it, all the stuff
Yeah.
they like about it, all the stuff that's good about it, like, hey, we're not just, like the slums of Manila. We
Yeah.
are everything. We are the culture, we are the people, we are the food, we are
Yeah.
the stuff like that. So yeah, and I feel like it's like that for pretty much anywhere in the world, except
Except for what?
for Brazil. Brazil just sucks.
Why? Is it's like
Bro, have you ever seen anyone say anything good about Brazil?
no, but just
Exactly,
expand on that. Why would you say that about Brazil?
bro. Brazil is like take everything bad about Latin America and compile it into one thing and put
Oh
it in like
shit!
a massive fucking thing.
Oh
It's
shit!
just not great. It's very. I mean, like if you think any other country in Latin America is dangerous, like just
So
go to Brazil.
Brazil's the most dangerous. Is that what from what you heard?
I don't. I'm not. No, I mean Venezuela exists,
Oh
but
shit! Venezuela
but
exists.
Brazil is just I don't know. It's just like very. I don't know. Brazil's like all over the place with their politics, their economy, their people, their
Shit! Yeah.
geographical like disposition. Like everything about Brazil is like all over the fucking place. And also, I
Shit,
hate
bro.
Spain. I just hate Europe. But yeah,
Oh man. Shit. Yeah, I'll just talk about the differences with my culture and heritage. I think one major difference between Australia and Philippines is like the way they like they praise workers or something. Like in Philippines it's like they praise people who work in office jobs, like people who are like say for example an engineer or like a lawyer or
mm,
maybe a doctor. Whereas here in Australia, it's more like the opposite. It's like people who work in trade, like a tradesperson or like or manual labor jobs basically. And it's quite the contrast because like here they get paid more, like the manual labor jobs, they get paid more than those who work in an office job. Whereas in Philippines it's the opposite. Like if you work in an office, you have like a high salary. It's quite the contrast. Like
it might be because, and I don't know. You can confirm this
yeah,
if you know more about it. This is just speculation on my end. It could be because relatively speaking, since the Philippines is a considerably poorer country than Australia.
oh yeah,
Maybe an office job is like, oh shit, you made it to like a well-paying job, right? In
yeah,
Australia is like almost like a desk job is like the norm. So
oh
it's like
yeah,
if you break out of it and you do something that not everyone else is doing, like some manual labor and stuff like that, that
yeah,
is needed, but not everyone else is doing, we reward that a little bit because, you know, getting a desk job is so normal, is basically the standard. Whereas in the Philippines, it might be seen as like a little bit of a luxury to have that type of job, maybe.
yeah. But I think it's got something to do with what's it called? It's colonial history. I think it's when
Mm-hmm.
I read somewhere online where it's like I think it's because of the influence of the United States had on Philippines, whereas Australia it's always been like it's like it's not entirely the opposite of America. It's like they always go for the underdog. Like if like
Mm-hmm.
the stereotype is like or for the American stereotype is like if you see a homeless person in the street, it's like you probably think he's like a bum, like I get a job or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Whereas here
yeah.
in Australia, it's like this is just a stereotype, by the way, like a caricature. Whereas here in Australia, it'd be like Oh man, that guy's having a hard time.
Let's help him out a little bit.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is Australians are good people and Americans are not.
No, we're not saying that. It's
I
the
mean,
it's
no,
the
like I agree with that.
it's the stereotype that is not necessarily the true image, but yeah. Oh man, fuck. What's the next topic? Wait. Shit, wait. Oh man, we've been talking for like 50 minutes now. We gotta talk about NFTs and cryptocurrencies now, and then we'll move on to superheroes as our last topic. Yeah, let's talk about NFTs. What do you think about it and crypto?
I think let's leave superheroes for next time because I think
That's a huge
some
topic in
stuff.
of itself.
Yeah,
That's a huge topic.
exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
bro, you can't have me talk about superheroes
Of
for like
course,
10
bro.
minutes. I will take 2 hours.
Oh shit, bro. We're gonna save that for next
Now,
time then.
as for NFTs,
And
what is
crypto.
your stance on them?
Oh man, fuck. To be
What do you
honest,
think
I
of
don't. I
NFTs?
don't. I don't really like them because
Mhm.
mainly because like there's no fucking tangible value you could actually do to it. Like I really don't understand why there's an interest for it, but I understand there's an interest for cryptocurrencies because like
Mhm.
the whole idea of like decentralizing the internet, like especially with the big tech organizations or company conglomerates.
Yeah.
But with the NFTs, man, like for example, people can just like make their own NFT and like as if like without the artist um or singer or any artist's permission, and they can get away with it, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Yeah.
The thing is, to me, like NFTs, I don't support them actively, as in like I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
Um, and even like the whole crypto situation where people are like, oh, it harms the environment. I don't really give a shit. I care about the environment, but I don't think cryptos are one of the biggest things ruining it right now. I think
Yeah.
there's
There
bigger
are.
things
Yeah,
to tackle
definitely.
regarding that topic.
Yeah.
But I think with NFTs, I don't really actively support it because I don't do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But I don't like hate it. I'm like, oh my god, you do NFTs, you goofy ass motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
look, because here's the thing: a lot of people are like, you paid $200,000 for a picture of a fucking monkey. Let me control click save, right? Like
Yeah.
right click save your picture. I got your NFT, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, again, you don't. Now,
Nobody has the actual picture.
now that one person, the NFT owner, might say, and I've seen this same interaction on Twitter. In
Yeah.
fact, I'm gonna quote it. This interaction that I saw. It was it was like, oh, I got your NFT. I got your NFT, right?
Yeah.
Because someone said that someone lost a bunch of NFTs.
Yeah.
Lost, I think, $2.7 million in NFTs.
Oh shit.
And then people were like, he posted like the NFTs that he lost, like Bored Ape number, blah blah blah. And people were
Yeah.
looking up pictures of that and posting them as replies, like, oh, I got it, I got it, I got it. But they were just downloading pictures, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then people were like, if you want your monkey so much, just download him as pictures. Why'd you pay so much for him, right? Like we're doing. Just download this picture that I sent you if you want it so much. Thing is, they don't care about the monkey. They care about the money attached to the monkey. So when you download an
Oh yeah.
NFT and you're like, I got your NFT, no, you didn't. Because they don't care that you have the same image as them. It's just your image does not have that amount of money attached to it, right?
Fair enough. Yeah. That's a
And
good
so,
argument.
for example, people were like some person was like, oh yeah, but you can't sell that. Like someone's like, oh, I just downloaded your NFT as a JPEG, and it's like, oh, but you can't sell it. And then the person replied with, oh really? And then they minted the image and made it an NFT. They effectively made the monkey that they stole an NFT because they minted it, right?
Shit. Yeah.
But at the same time, okay, you minted it, but it still doesn't have the same amount of
Yeah. It doesn't have the same
money
value.
attached to
Yeah.
it as the other one. This
Yeah.
person is not crying because he lost 60 pictures of monkeys. He's crying because he lost $2.7 million attached to those monkeys,
Yeah.
right? Now, my only problem with NFTs from a financial standpoint
Yeah.
is that it's a stupid investment in my opinion because
Yeah.
it's
Well,
risky,
it is risky indeed. Yeah.
it's not very secure, It's not a
Mhm.
very tested financial environment.
Yeah, it's not definitely.
It's not sustainable. It's just you're basically asking to lose your money with it. At some point,
Yeah.
something could go wrong easily. Someone could
Yeah.
steal it. Someone could do a lot of stuff. You could lose your investment because you don't know how to do it, because the market's wobbly, because it just started, like to gain traction. Maybe it's just not very safe. It's not a secure investment because you might lose it. I just think it's a stupid investment, but it's an investment nonetheless. If it works out for you, it works out for you. And I don't think anyone should shit on anyone for it because yeah, sure, to you it might be a stupid way to make money, but it's a way to make money, you know?
For others, yeah.
Selling and buying pictures. At the end of the day, someone's willing to buy and sell the pictures.
Yeah.
And also, not because they want the pictures, but because if they buy it, now they can sell it again, right?
Mm.
So they can get more money out of it. It's a market. That's how the market works, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's like if I went to like a fucking fruit market, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "You fucking goofballs, why not just go out and fucking pick your own apples? Look at me. Let me go
Go to
out
the
to the apple
farm.
field and I pick like two apples, and then I'm like, huh, look at this bitch." Is like, okay, you got two apples, right? I have 60 right here in my stand. Um, but the thing is, I have a whole market going on here, right?
Yeah.
I'm selling these in order to buy more, in order to sell them, in order to buy more. You just have them to eat them.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're just eating two apples. I don't care about the apples. I care about the money attached to them, and I care about the money that's going to be circulating from it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So that's how NFTs work. That's why I'm not against NFTs as a concept, and I think people who goof on them don't actually really understand. Maybe not even the concept of NFTs. I feel like some people who shit on them might even understand the concept of an NFT and how it works. They just don't understand why people care about it.
Yeah.
Or they choose not to because it's the fun thing to shit on NFTs. Now, I wouldn't buy an NFT, but I can see why someone would buy it because it's already a market. You got to take
Yeah, it's a
advantage of it,
market.
you
Yeah,
know?
it's trendy.
Exactly.
Same with crypto, but what's it called? What was I gonna say? Fuck. Yeah, what about crypto? What's your stance on it? Are you
It's
or your
pretty
thoughts?
much the same thing
Oh,
to
okay.
me.
Yeah.
It's it's to me a really wobbly investment, but an investment
Yeah,
nonetheless.
investment on the
More
list, yeah.
stable market definitely than
Yeah,
NFTs
definitely,
because
yeah,
it's been
definitely.
around for way longer.
Yeah.
And it's more backed up
Yeah.
than NFTs. But also, I don't deal in that. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. You know.
Yeah, same.
Um, but
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 but to
well.
me, it's not bad. It's a
Ah,
thing
okay.
that people do because you get money out of it. You might lose some money, but at the end of the day, that's what any investment is like. You take
Yeah,
the risk
all
of losing.
investments have risk to
Exactly.
yeah.
And investing is the best way to make money and keep your money. You know? So, in general, I think people need to stop being so like such skeptics about like everything around NFTs and everything about cryptocurrencies and everything about NFTs. People really need to stop being so like such skeptics and so almost drawn to hate them just because it's the cool thing to do. You know,
Yeah.
at the root of it, sure, it might seem goofy to you, but there is a real financial decision that
Yeah.
is being made when you invest in those things, which makes some sense to a certain extent.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So I feel like people who shit on people with NFTs, honestly, I feel like are people who just are very bitter with capitalism because they can't buy their fucking like they can't afford certain things. Which sure, I love capitalism. I think capitalism is great. You know, which
Yeah.
is probably why I support NFTs and cryptocurrencies in that regard. I think capitalism is the only real sustainable um long-term sustainable system.
Economic, yeah.
Uh, yeah. Um, and it's just, I mean, to me, it's like capitalism's like a constant competition where
Yeah.
like you have a bunch of big people and a bunch of small people. The big people make the money, like they get the money, and then the small people they produce and they make the money that goes to the big people, right?
Yeah.
That seems unfair. Capitalism's kind of like a competition that pushes you to try to go from the small guy to the big guy
Exactly.
through
Yeah.
innovation, through
Yeah.
being an entrepreneur, through different things, you try to go from being the person who produces the money for the big guy to being the person who receives the money. And then the people at the bottom are going to try to do the same thing. So it's like a cycle. Now, the main criticism that I hear people doing to that is that it doesn't provide the right amount of opportunities for the small people to get in over the big people, right?
Yeah.
And which is true in some cases. Some people are trapped in like poverty traps and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Of course.
Limits their possibilities. But that's why a good capitalist society should have methods to deal with that. Backup policies, should have public policy to deal with that, should have state investments in like the poor section.
Yeah.
Capitalism can't work if the government like neglects the working class or like the proletariat or like basically just the poor people.
Yeah.
Um, because if the again, capitalism works on the basis of it being a competition.
Yeah.
And the only way that competition can actually be self-sustainable is if everyone has an equal opportunity. So in a way, if you invest in the poor people, you're actually investing in the rich people as well and in
Mm.
yourself.
Yeah.
If you're rich, you invest in the poor people, you're investing in yourself as well because you're giving more people the opportunity to get it over you. And because you give people more opportunity to get it over you, you're giving the whole entire system more opportunities. So you're giving yourself more opportunity to get ahead of them. So everyone's on an equal playing field trying to get up, but everyone at least has enough of a base. So I do think capitalism is the best system. It's just not handled super well in most countries,
Yeah. I agree.
but not a lot of things are.
Of course. Um. Yeah. I think we'll wrap it up there. We'll talk about superheroes next time. That's a huge
Yeah,
topic in of itself. Of
that's
course.
like a 5-hour video, right?
5 hour video. Imagine that. Like, oh
Yeah.
shit, bro. Fuck. All right. Thanks everyone for watching or listening. I'm Neil, and this is
My name is Gregory.
this is Jay, not Gregory. All right. See you guys.